Good morning and welcome to Veterans Heartbeat on the Pulse of the Veteran, where we discuss issues of health, happiness, opportunity, and well-being of interest to the veteran community, their families, and the community who honors them.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Veterans Heartbeat, brought to you by River, the Rural Institute for Veterans Education and Research. My name is Jason Zencraft. My co-host Ed Lasovsky is here with me, and he is the president of River. We welcome you to a weekly wide-ranging discussion of issues, events, opportunities, and needs in our veteran community. Morning, Ed. How you doing?
Morning, Jason.
We would also like to thank our sponsor, Farside Signs. They create amazing-looking vehicle graphics that will drive traffic to your business. Farside Signs make unique designs that are specific to your business, and they are located at 1526 South Avenue West in Missoula. Follow them on the web, Instagram, and Facebook, or stop on by. As stated before, we're also sponsored by River, who offer many services to veterans, such as weekly free vestibular disorder testing clinic and educational programs that focus on veterans helping veterans. Today we have Dr. Jeff Marksberry, the Vice President of Science and Education at Electromedical Products. They are the makers of AlphaStim, and he's here to talk to us about the products they offer and how they can help veterans. How you doing, Dr. Marksberry?
I'm doing very good. Thanks for having me on today.
We're very excited to say that Electromedical Products has donated 10 AlphaStim products that we can use in our clinic here at River. So thank you very much for that, Dr. Marksberry. Do you want to give an overview of, your history and how you came into this position at Electromedical Products?
Yeah, absolutely, and we're glad to be able to help out. We donate the devices to you guys as well as a couple other organizations that help with active duty and veteran service members, so we're happy to do that. So I'm the Vice President of Science and Education. I've been here for about 7 years at AlphaStim. We make products for anxiety, insomnia, and depression. That's what the AlphaStim is FDA approved for. I found the device actually from my daughter. She's 14 now, but was 7 at the time, and suffered with pediatric migraines. So had quite a few headaches. We did the normal routine work, got some glasses, changed our diet, did all the things we're supposed to do, and was still having considerable amount of headaches. And spoke with a friend that had really good results using AlphaStim for headache prevention. So we got a device. She started using that and had great results. I found that they were only about 30 minutes away from where I live, the home office here in Fort Worth, Texas. So came in. They needed somebody for the position that I'm in now, so I just happened to be in good timing and got the job. So been here for 7 years. Do a lot of research, do a lot of training. One of my big tasks is to make sure that all the VAs that use the device, which is over 100 VAs now, 30 DOD facilities. So I go to those facilities, make sure the doctors, the healthcare practitioners know how to use the device, that they're up to date on the latest science, the safety, the protocols, to make sure that they're giving the veterans the best care possible when they use our products.
Dr. Marksberry, this is Ed.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have this product in Montana currently, do you?
There are some facilities that use AlphaStim in Montana. I know Rimrock is probably the biggest one, the addiction center there, and they've been using it for many years. I don't know offhand, to my knowledge, I don't think any of the VAs are using it.
So this is exciting for the veterans in Montana to get this product available to them.
Absolutely. We are, one of our big causes is to make sure that veterans are aware of the device. We work with some really great doctors and advocates of our product that really push the knowledge envelope. So we work with just recently we started working with Dakota Meyer, who's one of the Medal of Honor recipients. He's a Marine that won the Medal of Honor. After winning the Medal of Honor, he got out of the military, suffered greatly with anxiety and depression, used the AlphaStim, and actually had a Facebook post about how it really helped him. So we reached out to him. We've been working with him since May now, but he's done several conferences. We've worked with him just to get the word about AlphaStim out. He actually did a suicide prevention conference just a couple of weeks ago and was a keynote speaker there. So we were there with him, had a booth set up, just increasing the knowledge of the practitioners that work throughout the VA on non-pharmacological treatments available to their patients.
So, Dr. Marksberry, do you want to explain this product that we've been talking about? Some people say, it's like a TENS unit, but it's so much more than that. Do you want to give us an overview of what exactly it is?
Sure. AlphaStim is a electrical modality. So we do use electricity. Two different ways. We can use it on the brain. When we use it on the brain, it's a microamp, so it's a very, very low current, lower than anything else on the market. That's FDA cleared to treat anxiety, insomnia, and depression. It's a 20-minute treatment. After the treatment, the patient feels very calm and relaxed, but you're also more focused and alert. So if you look at brain wave changes on EEG, you see the patient's in an alpha state, something you can achieve through meditation or biofeedback, but this will actually do that passively while you sit and use it for 20 minutes. So you feel really calm afterwards. And when we use it on the body, we also see pain relief. So just the way a TENS is used for pain, but this is a much lower current. A TENS uses a counter-irritant property, so it blocks that signal of pain, and instead of blocking it, we actually change it. We trick the body and we modulate that signal. So where a pain, when we use TENS for pain, it does tend to diminish over time. You get a diminishing return. Alpha Sim is just the opposite. We get better and better results the more we use it. And when we treat the brain, you can address those comorbidities that go along with chronic pain. The people that have chronic pain, they don't sleep well. Many times they're depressed, obviously, from the chronic pain that they have to deal with day to day. So incorporating that treatment of the brain, we can address both sides of it, the body as well as the mental side.
I'm looking at an article that you wrote and a study that you did in the United States Army Medical Journal, which is peer-reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of explained this device as a cranial electrical stimulation.
Right.
So kind of like a TENS unit, but not really.
Well, it's like a TENS unit in that we can use it on the body for pain. The one aspect that's completely different from TENS is that we can also treat the brain. A TENS unit, because of the strength of the current, is contraindicated for any use above the shoulders. So you would never use a TENS unit on your head or really on your neck for pain. Whereas Alpha Sim, we have ear clip electrodes. So when we treat someone's brain, we actually put ear clip electrodes on their earlobes. They wear that for 20 minutes. It's pretty subsensory. You don't feel much while you wear it. You can have a little bit of a pulse, a little prickly sensation on your earlobe, but that's about the extent of it. And that's FDA approved, again, for anxiety, insomnia, and depression. And that includes pediatric patients, like my daughter. We work with some pediatricians that use this for patients that are nervous about a procedure they're getting. So they'll put the ear clips on, help their anxiety in that acute setting. Dentistry will use it for acute anxiety as well.
In reading the research that you provided to us,
mm-hmm.
Montana has the highest suicide rate per capita for veterans. And in the work we do at the Institute, we found a lot of pain is causing a lot of the suicides. According to the studies by the Department of Health here in Montana, can be as much as 40 to 50%. However, now I'm going to get into some areas here to try to figure this thing out. I know that everybody's looking at it like a TENS unit because that's what they know, but this unit, unlike a TENS unit, it doesn't try to block the nerve receptors. It actually tries to do something different. Can you explain that a little better?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we've written a lot of articles. We read a lot of research with our particular device, and although we think we have a very good handle on how it works, there's still some mystery involved. We know when we work with pain, when you think about pain, we think about the pain loop. So, if you step on a tack, for example, your reflex is to move your foot right away. You'll get that signal from your foot to your brain, back down to your foot. That hurts. Move your foot to self-protection, self-defense mechanism. So a TENS unit is just designed to block that pain, and it's effective for blocking it while you wear it, but very little results when you take it off. What Alpha Sim actually does is takes that same signal that's being sent to your brain and actually just changes it, modulates that signal, telling your brain that there is no longer pain. Now, that's not to say that you don't have the same injury. You're still stepping on the tack, so you still want to move your foot. But just like anything else in pain management, you still have to be aware that you could still have an injury, but we want to manage the pain. So we're dealing with their pain while they still have to have that injury addressed. But for a lot of patients that have chronic back pain and maybe there's not a lot they can do, they're not a surgical candidate, Alpha Sim is something that they can use, treat their pain. They're not relying on opiates, addictive drugs, so they can actually rely on the Alpha Sim instead, use that as needed, and it's non-addictive. So it's something they can still use as often as they need to help with their pain management and not have to rely on those medications.
Well, okay. Opiates, since you're a physician, long-term use of opiates, I mean, they're demonizing it right now. What's your opinion on that? I
completely understand why they demonize that, or antidepressants or sleep meds. All of them have very scary statistics as far as addiction, side effects. If you take 2 sleep medications a month, your chance of accidental death goes up by 33%. So all those medications have a lot of serious side effects and other ramifications that affect your daily life. What we try to do is to really bridge that gap. So if you take away opiates, then you have to be offering something. You have to offer some mindfulness training or some acupuncture or some alpha stim. There have to be other options for those practitioners to offer. And I completely agree that they should use less. I know I've talked to practitioners in the DOD or in the VA that, early on, 10, 15 years ago, relied heavily on opiates, where now they're really being ordered, being told to scale back, find other options, which, for us has been a good thing because it's been a lot of growth in our area. People are seriously looking for other options to offer their patients rather than just relying on those medications that maybe 10 years ago they probably relied too heavily on.
Right now at the Institute, we do a lot of acupuncture for the veterans. Mm-hmm. And we work with some chiropractors and whatnot. And, yeah, I can see it. And even the veterans don't want to feel stoned out. No, they don't. Now, one of the other issues is with this device, how long will a treatment last?
So there's a couple different ways to treat, but if we were treating pain, for example, and recently I was at a VA, and I did a talk for about 30 practitioners at a VA center in Colorado. We had a volunteer afterwards who was a veteran there getting his normal treatment, and he had pain in his right knee. He rated it out of 10, a 6, so 6 out of 10 is kind of what he dealt with on a daily basis. We used the probes, which using the probes is treating peripherally, so we just focused on strictly the knee. And I actually didn't even treat him. I showed him the protocol and had him do it himself because it's very user-friendly once you kind of figure it out. And that treatment takes 2 minutes. So in 2 minutes, he went from a 6 to a 3. So he cut his pain in half. Then I showed him another step. There's one more additional minute that if you have pain, you're going to focus exactly in on where his pain was radiating from. So a total of 3 minutes, and he was down to 0 when we got done. So his pain was completely gone. We put the ear clips on him afterwards, which still helps the central mediated part. You're going to treat the brain as well. So both of those combination, we treated him for a total of 23, 24 minutes. His pain was gone for a total of 24 hours. So he had a really great relief for 24 hours. He could come back, got his own device, and started using it regularly, and would be pain-free pretty much after that.
Now, a TENS unit, you use it, and the more you use it, the higher you have to turn it up.
Right. Very similar to a drug in that you're going to accommodate to it. So, if you start using a pain medication, after a while it's going to have little effect, so you need to take more. You build up a tolerance. Because a TENS unit has a very simple waveform, your body will start to recognize that simple waveform, and you will accommodate to it over time. So a 6-month window is not a great window for a TENS unit. It may be good in the short term for a couple weeks or months sometimes, but long term, it's not great for your tissue. It does deplete your local tissue of ATP. So if you're treating your lower back, for example, you're taking the ATP out of that tissue, out of those cells, so they don't heal real well. So it can actually be detrimental to the tissue itself, whereas microcurrent, much less current, actually increases ATP. So it can be beneficial for injuries or wounds, things like that. And in our case, you're not going to accommodate to it, so you can use this long term.
You practiced medicine for a long time. You've seen a lot of different patients with different chronic conditions. What we're seeing is a lot of these vets that have this chronic pain also have an additional problem in that it causes all these anxieties and depressions. So this sounds like it could be a supplemental adjunct without the big pharma coming in and giving a lot of pills.
Right. It is. We had a really well-done study at the VA Center in Houston, Texas, at the pain clinic there. And they took 32 veterans and they trained them on non-drug options for their pain. Alpha stim happened to be one, but there was also a stress eraser and some biofeedback devices. But they allowed the veterans to come into the clinic whenever they wanted to, use a device they wanted to, switch, and they could kind of come and go as they wanted to. So what they initially saw was that they tried everything out, but by the end of the study, they were almost exclusively using alpha stim, and overall they chose it 73% of the time. So that's great for us that they preferred our device. But when you look at their study and you can see the results they got, they did have a good improvement in their pain, which was the intent. It's a pain clinic. But because we work with mental health as well, they also measured things like anxiety, depression, insomnia, and all those categories improved as well. So because their pain was better, and we work with mental health too, now they're less depressed, they're sleeping better, and the researchers commented on that. They said that the visits to the clinic increased during the study, so patients were coming around more often, but they were also see that they were more engaged in their behavioral therapy or their group sessions, things like that. They could really see that quality of life improvement when they were using the AlphaStim throughout that period of time, that study.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing to hear. What all products do you offer over at AlphaStim?
We only sell AlphaStim, that's it. So we have two different devices. We have the AlphaStim Aid, which stands for anxiety, insomnia, and depression. And that device just treats the brain only. So you're a psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker, for example, the ones that are really just treating the brain, that's what they would use. Then the other device is the AlphaStim M, and it does the brain treatment, but it also allows you to treat pain on the body. So we sell both of those, and this as well we sell any accessories that would go along with those devices.
The devices, are they dangerous in any way? Have you had any repercussions with any of it?
We've been on the market since 1981, and we've never had a serious adverse event reported. We do have some side effects. They're very minimal, less than 1%, and the most common side effect you get is a headache. And we know that the current or microcurrent in general does relax muscles, so as you wear the ear clips, you'll actually feel your neck and shoulders do tend to relax. But as you relax those muscles, you can actually cause a headache. It's rare, and it's a mild headache, and it usually goes away within 20 to 30 minutes after the treatment's over. So that would be the most common. Occasionally, some people with really fair skin will get some redness on their earlobe, and that goes away usually within 20 to 30 minutes also. So that's about as severe as the side effects get that we have.
Now, you're trained in traditional medicine. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
But you are considering this and acupuncture, so have you worked with acupuncture also?
We do, yeah. And actually our founder, the inventor of the AlphaStim, Dr. Daniel Kirsch, was trained in acupuncture, taught acupuncture in China, and has done that throughout his entire life. So when he developed the device, he was working with the UCLA track team using microcurrent to treat their pain, but was also very proficient in acupuncture. And even today we do medical conferences, and one of the conferences we attend each year is the Academy of Medical Acupuncturists, so physicians that also incorporate acupuncture into their practices.
Okay, now we've been talking a lot about chronic pain. What about acute pain?
Acute pain, to me, is, that's where I use it, or my family or friends. We have, some kids, nephews, things like that are, in sports, do different things, and we see it works amazing with acute pain. So if I have the probes, and just in my house, for example, since I've been with AlphaStim, we've had a broken nose, some broken toes, a pretty good burn from a barbecue grill, anything like that where you get pain. We'll get the AlphaStim, use the probes in really 2 or 3 minutes total, and whatever pain you had is now to zero. It's amazing. We've done work with the Navy SEALs and different special forces, Marine special forces. We work with SOCOM out of Tampa Bay, and you can use it. They'll use it in the field. They use battlefield acupuncture as well, but they will use AlphaStim in the field to treat pain just acutely. Likewise, we have a lot of athletes. The Dallas Cowboys, the San Diego Padres, Chicago White Sox, all use the device as well.
So the body basically functions as a major electrical product. I mean, that's...
Yeah, big electrical circuit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So can you explain that to our listeners a little bit?
Yeah, one of the things we try to teach practitioners learning about the device is that your nervous system is 98% electric, only 2% chemical. So we are electrochemical, but only 2% chemical, and 98% of medicine is focused on the chemical side, where the drugs work. But your nervous system is really dominated by electricity, and you have those signals all over your body, especially in your brain. We have trillions of neurons. So we work on that factor. We work on those neurons and those receptors. We change that. We change neurochemicals, so you see, endorphins and serotonin increase. So we play on that factor. My grandmother's always my example because she's had knee replacements, arthritic tissue, scar tissue, and that tissue is very non-conductive. So just thinking about your body as a circuit, you actually have some resistors in there. Anywhere you have a scar is actually a resistor, which I know is sort of an acupuncture property as well. So we address it the same way. We want to treat that scar and then treat the body as a whole.
You know, when I first heard about this unit, I was like, first thought that I had was that movie where One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where sticking the electrodes over somebody's temple and zapping the crap out of them.
Yeah.
And not like that at all, is it?
No, and that ECT, we get that question occasionally, electroconvulsive therapy. That's about 10,000 times more current than what we're dealing with. Ours runs on 2 AAA batteries, so it's extremely low. But we still have people that will call us and have used ECT recently to treat their depression, and it didn't work. And they lost some of their memory. They're having other side effects, headaches and things. So now they're looking around at other options. So it does have a stigma with it when you talk about treating the body with electricity. I think the pain world is much more familiar with that. Physical therapists, pain practitioners, because they do use TENS, because they use muscle stimulators that are strong enough to actually cause a muscle contraction for rehab purposes. So they're a little less leery to think about it than a psychiatrist who remembers One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where Jack Nicholson got ECT treatments and lost his memory. So we try to stay away from that. It's it's 10,000 more times more current than what we're dealing with. So ours is very safe and easy to use. So,
well, it's a fascinating area of medicine, and I sure appreciate, and I'm sure our veterans are going to appreciate the use of these. We're going to spread them around the state. We've got an office in Sydney. We've got an office in Polson, and we're going to put them on the medical mobile clinic that we're putting together. Any other comments for us, Doc?
We're glad to be working with you, and we appreciate the work you do for our veterans, and we're here to help. And if a veteran hears this and wants to find out more about it, they're welcome to go to alphastem.com. They can click around and read some of the information, and always call in and get more of their questions answered as well.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Marksberry. We appreciate you coming on Veterans Heartbeat and explaining your product. And hope you have a good day.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a good day, too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, Jason, now with that kind donation, our veterans are going to finally start seeing some of the stuff that's coming out of the research labs coming to Montana.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting stuff. It kind of does have that little black mark against it because people remember One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, this, that, and the other thing, but it's so much different. I mean, I've tried it myself. It's much, much different currents, and it's not as intense as you think. You don't walk away with your hair sticking up.
The other thing that I'm excited about is we just opened up our Polson office, and we're getting that pulled together.
Absolutely. We opened the office over there. We have 2 great people running it, and they're just getting going. There's a few things they need to tighten up on their end, but so far things are going great for them. I'm excited to see them really flourish in that area and bring some services to Polson and Kalispell area.
I do most of the clinical interventions, and I can tell you, I can list off hundreds of patients that we're servicing. This is so exciting. This donation was a godsend for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Ed said before, we have an office in Polson, but we also have an office over there in eastern Montana in Sydney, the northeastern corner. And up there, as you can imagine, there's nothing for services. I mean, you can go to Glendive, they're limited, or you have to go all the way to Billings. So to have these units in that area for the veterans in the area, I mean, there's a lot of oil workers there. I mean, there's a lot of pain where these guys and gals have such a far distance to travel. To have these units just right there in Sydney is going to be phenomenal. I'm very excited for that.
Well, we've been working very hard on the statistics. We've quoted them, 40 to 50% of all the suicides in Montana are somewhat related to chronic pain. So here we go. We have some answer for you guys. You need to get a hold of us at River.
Well, we definitely appreciate Dr. Marksberry's time talking about all the things that they offer there, the AlphaStim products, and we're very excited to see how that's going to impact the veterans in Montana. So thank you very much for listening to Veterans Heartbeat. We'd not be able to bring this to you without all the support of the listeners. Thank you again to Farside Signs for sponsoring the show. If you need a unique vehicle design, swing on by and check them out. Also, thank you to our main sponsor, River. The Rural Institute for Veterans Education and Research have an array of services such as veterans-focused education, a vestibular disorder clinic, and now non-pharmaceutical treatments for pain, anxiety, and depression. Check them out on Facebook or on the web at riverofchange.org. Lastly, we'd like to show our appreciation to all of our veterans. Thank you for serving our country and keeping it safe.